This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. The use and distribution of antibiotics in animal agriculture is changing, and producers of all sizes need to begin preparing to adapt in the coming year. Now, to learn more about the new guidelines, we have Dr. Catherine Webb with Lindquist Veterinary Care Center here this morning. How are you doing today?
Doing well, getting ready for a Happy New Year.
Yes, I am, and so are you, and I'm sure everybody is ready. So go ahead and tell us a little bit more about this new guideline, new rule that is taking effect come Sunday into Monday.
That's right. As of January 1st. And this is for any food producing animals. So that would mean not just cattle. We're talking about if you have sheep and goats, if you have chickens and turkeys, and even bees are involved in that because bees produce food, they make honey. Antibiotics, any antibiotics by mouth need to be accompanied by an on-farm VFD, which stands for Veterinary Feed Directive. So it will be important for producers to have a relationship with a veterinarian so that they can present at the veterinary clinic and say, this is what's going on, and I need some medicated feed, maybe medicated milk replacer. This is something that I need to treat my animals because it will no longer be available without a VFD at feed mills and feed stores all across the country. This comes from the USDA. They did a study in 2012 on meats that had passed inspection, and they found that there was maybe 4% of them that had antibiotic residues in them. And most Americans are not comfortable with the thought of antibiotic residues in the foods that they're eating.
Now let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about the VFD. Does it ever expire? How does that work?
Yeah, a VFD expires every 6 months.
Okay.
And so the rules that they were saying was one VFD, so one paper form for one group of animals, for one disease time. And so if you have the same sickness that comes back again and again and again, you need another VFD for every time you go and you pick up medicated feeds. So one VFD, one group of animals, one healthcare need, one feed mill. You cannot have, it's not like a doctor's prescription where you can take it and shop around at different pharmacies. You have to know where you're sending it. It has to be written out so that the feed mill keeps that on hand. The feed mill has to keep records of it. The producer has to keep records of it. The veterinarian has to keep records of it for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and so what you mentioned with the feed mills, they obviously know about the new guidelines and they will follow this because are there fines attached to this? How does that work?
You bet there are. And the USDA says that for the first 6 months or so, they're going to be sending a letter of better straighten up here. We've got these new laws. And after that time, they're going to start assessing fees and fines, and that could lead to, in worst case scenario, after repeat problems with the same group of people, that could lead to even things like jail time. I mean, this is pretty serious with the FDA.
And you just mentioned, and you've said it a couple of times, that this is issued and mandated by the USDA. It's not the veterinarians in town or across the country. That this is mandated by the USDA, and this is a new rule going into effect.
I don't know a single veterinarian out in private practice that says, "Oh boy, I'd like to do more paperwork today."
Right.
So no, this comes from the USDA. This comes from the head honchos.
All right. So for those that maybe aren't familiar with it, or producers out there that need to get familiar with it, especially come Monday, we'll post some informational pamphlets that you had provided for me on our website at ktvo.com. We'll link up information with Lindquist Veterinary Care Center as well if you have any questions or concerns or looking for a vet. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yes. Most important thing, if you do not yet have a relationship with a veterinarian who has been and seen your animals and been to the premises, you need to get that taken care of, because that is what constitutes a legal relationship between a producer and a veterinarian. So you need to call them up and say, hey, I need to have you out. I need to have you see my animals. And that veterinarian has to be the veterinarian who writes your VFDs. So you must have that relationship. So if you don't have that, get taken care of that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming
You're
on.
welcome.
And again, we'll post everything on our website at ktvo.com, and we'll be right back.